Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Pop Pop.
I'm Matt.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Kelly.
And we're some of the Veggie boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. Hi, Lily. Hi, Ronnie. Oh. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. We are dealing with a busy day here on the farm. A lot of people have been here picking up all different types of stuff. Lots of canning supplies. Look at all the tomatoes going out of here. Oh my word. Just yesterday, this porch was completely filled with tomatoes, and now it's looking a lot thinner, so you know what that means. We're definitely gonna have to be picking tomatoes today and some other stuff. I don't know if we will get to tomatoes, but we're gonna try. Yeah. Now, because of how busy it has been, we've not been able to get out to the fields yet, which is kind of unusual for us. We like to get out there as soon as possible. But you know what? When the farm market's busy and the girls need help, there's not much you can do about that. You need to be here for them. Because we're so busy and we've been moving a lot of tomatoes, Daniel and I made our way down around back. We're gonna get the cart loaded up with the tomatoes that we had in our storage area, and we're gonna get them up there because we're probably gonna sell them all today. While we're down here, and Daniel and I are gonna be grabbing some of these other plum tomatoes that we have. We're gonna run them through the washer and then sort them, and everything that's ripe enough is gonna be going up top, but everything that's not ready just yet will just stay back down here. We got all the tomatoes put into place. We got a nice selection up here. We also got plenty of boxes filled. Now these boxes right here are all orders that are going out today. So yeah, it's easy to see that we've got a lot of tomatoes here at the farm market, but we've also got a lot that needs to be picked. It's nice to be back out in the fields, and it's even nicer because we're starting off with something new today. There's always a lot of excitement, not just for you guys, but for us personally when we start harvesting something new on the farm. And today, it's potatoes. This is gonna be the first time that we are digging with our windrower. We're gonna try and get the potatoes dug up, and then we're gonna let them dry. But we really just wanna see how they look, so that's why we're getting started. Now what we have here is our earliest variety of white potatoes. They are a little bit smaller than what we'll be seeing later on, but even though they're not going to be as large as our later potatoes, they still have some really good size to them, and they're just beautiful potatoes all around. Now because we do have a little extra moisture in the soil, we are going to be going through harvesting our white potatoes, and then we're going to come through and harvest our red potatoes. We're going to let them sit for a little bit and dry out, and then we're going to come through and pick them up. What I am seeing here is a beautiful crop. I think we're all really excited about potato harvest. And there's something about eating your own homegrown potatoes that's just wonderful. I know we're looking forward to it, and our customers are looking forward to it too. We sell through a lot of potatoes, as you guys have seen in the past years. And yeah, there's a reason for that, because they're so darn delicious. I don't know what else to say. I just love potatoes. We're gonna let Daniel finish off harvesting potatoes for now, and I'm gonna be on my way over with Dad and Matthew, and we're gonna get the cucumbers picked. we seeing? Is there many cucumbers here?
Not many.
So it's obvious the plants are slowing down now?
Yes.
Okay, that's to be expected, and I'm not too upset about that. They picked a lot of regular cucumbers. You will notice as we're picking that a little different style as opposed to the last few times. We're kind of just walking through because the plants are thinner now, easier to see through, so you can see all of the cucumbers while you're standing. It makes picking a lot faster, but it's also evident that the plants are on their way out. We were talking just the other day about these cucumbers, how they're kind of like mixed in with pickling cucumbers. The amount of cucumbers that we've been picking, could you imagine if they weren't mixed up, if the seed wasn't mixed up when they were first planted? What would we have done? We would have had way too much of these regular cucumbers. I mean, I hope we would have been able to sell them. It would have been difficult. Thankfully, we had pickling cucumbers mixed in here. We tend to sell a little bit more of those. Even though these plants are much, much older, it's still nice to see that we're getting beautiful cucumbers. And maybe it kind of gives you an idea of how we're able to get through and sell all these. When the cucumbers look as nice as they do, they sell a lot faster, and a lot of people talk about them then. So when people are talking about some produce that you have, it's a lot easier to sell it. So Daniel, I left before you started on the red potatoes. How did they look over there?
Red potatoes look nice.
Were they like a little bit smaller, or were they larger potatoes? Like, how big were they?
They're about the same size.
Hey, that's good for me. I'm happy with that. I know a lot of people like the smaller creamer potatoes, and we pick a lot of those too. So if there is some smaller ones there, not a problem at all. But we would prefer them to be a little bit larger. Cucumbers are now all picked. Daniel is heading down to get the four-wheeler so that we can get all these picked up and put onto the wagon. While we're standing here, we are seeing a lot of nice tomatoes starting to ripen up in this patch that we have here. And it's kind of amazing because these tomatoes look really, really nice, but they're also our last planting of tomatoes. You don't realize how far the year has gone until you get to this point. Now, because these are one of our last patches of tomatoes, the number one thing we're looking to get out of this patch is just longevity. If we can harvest this for as long as possible up into frost, well, that's gonna be a big bonus for us. Sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. We just have to wait and see what the weather holds out for us. But this patch of tomatoes, it is gonna be a big bonus for us if we can pick off of it. Another thing it's gonna do is allow us to have green tomatoes. In this area where we live, once you get closer to frost, there's a lot of people who are looking for green tomatoes. They make a few family dishes. There's a lot of different things that people use green tomatoes for. And yeah, hopefully we'll have green tomatoes for them as well. But if the tomatoes continue to look like this, we're gonna be doing good. We're gonna be happy. Look at these green ones here. There is just tons of tomatoes laying in this patch. Look at that basket. It's got eggplant, cucumbers, and tomatoes in it. The next place that we need to go is over to our patch of eggplant because we got a big order for eggplant. So we're gonna go get some picked. Now the cucumbers that we just picked were our second planting. What we have right here is gonna be our third planting of cucumbers, and they're not quite ready yet. Probably because we've been dealing with less growing hours and it's been cool. It kind of slowed down in growth, but I tell you what, it's gonna get warm again. So hopefully they'll be ready to harvest sooner rather than later because we don't want a big gap between our cucumber harvest and our pickling cucumber harvest.
Oh no, I found dinosaur eggs! Another one!
You better put them back where you found them.
Another one!
The amount of eggplant that's just flying out of here is crazy. Look at this eggplant. Stuff is gorgeous. We barely moved and we got a second basket full right here. This is 4 baskets already. Daniel's got his wagon all filled up and he is on the way back to the farm. We're making a quick stop by the potatoes because we all want to see how they look. And someone in the back seat is really excited about the potatoes. Woo! Potatoes! Let's go!
Oh, they look nice.
Yeah. Very nice. If any of you were curious what our job to start off the afternoon would be, you don't gotta be too curious because it's probably gonna be picking up potatoes.
It's gonna be sweet corn.
You think so?
It'll be sweet corn, then potatoes.
Sweet corn, then potatoes. Wow, what a busy day. Hey, you got enough on that wagon?
Not yet, buddy.
Oh my goodness. Ah! Is it ready to go?
Wet in the middle. Needs to be raked again.
I know somebody that'd love to rake this hay. Call Petey. Peter! It's lunchtime and it looks like we are having French onion soup and some cheesesteaks. It is now after lunch and we're getting everything that we had picked ran through the washer. Right now Dad and I are working on some eggplant. Now when the eggplant comes out, we do clip off the tops so that everything is nice, clean, and uniform, and then we move them into the baskets. We just got everything washed. We've got our eggplant, our cucumbers boxed up, and we have a few pickling cucumbers just for us. On to our next job, which is gonna be picking sweet corn. Oh boy, look at all the ears in here. Oh, it's gonna be a wonderful picking time. $400. And there goes the only order of sweet corn we have for this weekend, 400 ears. Now we're on to picking an entire bin for ourselves, and we need to grab some white corn after that. Is this Montauk? Yeah. I can tell. One thing we love about the variety Montauk is that it comes off the stalk so easy. Some of this corn really holds on and it can wear you down at the end of the day. But a variety like Montauk, oh, when it just falls off the stalk, it just makes you feel so much better. Makes this job a lot easier on the body. Whacked myself in the face with a corn stalk and now my left eye is blurry. That's wonderful.
Well, Andrew, at least you have another eye. Keep pulling corn, Andrew.
Just finished off our bin of sweet corn, so we got the 400 for the order, and then we got a completely full bin for us. There's a lot of fat ears in here, but I still think there's a decent amount. It's funny because when the ears are larger, you pick less into a bin. So sometimes a bin can have, I don't know, 700 to 800 ears, and then there's times where a bin can have like 500 to 600 ears. I'm not too sure how much is in this bin. I'm gonna assume around 650 to 700. That should be enough. If not, we'll just come out here and pick more later on or tomorrow. It's not a big deal. I don't mind picking sweet corn. So I ended up having to come back to the farm a little bit earlier than everyone else because the girls needed some help with an order. So I was back here helping customers, helping the girls, and my dad, Matthew, and Daniel got the rest of the corn picked. So we've got a bin of yellow and white for us, a bin of white, and then that bin that is for an order. Dad is getting all the corn pulled into the farm market, and he's also moving some stuff around in the cooler just to make some extra space. We're almost out of yellow and white corn, so he's also got to fill up the bin for the customers. I am currently rounding up green baskets because we're gonna be going to pick up the potatoes next. A lot of times you'll see us using our red harvesting baskets These green ones are a little bit larger, so they hold more, and we like to use them for potatoes for that very reason. Now we do have quite a few of these, but I gotta go find them. I think they're down around back. I think. I don't know if this is gonna be all we need, but it sure is a good amount to get started with. A lot of traffic back here. I know, there's so much traffic. We are now out here with the potatoes. We're gonna get started on picking them up. I will notice there are certain sections of this field that have more rocks. We did pick some of the rocks out of this field, but it was still right when we first got the rock picker. So as we go through and pick up all these potatoes, we will be able to come through with the rock picker and get all the rocks that are left behind. Oh, jeez. That's how you feel about picking potatoes right now?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Now that I've picked up a basket of potatoes, some of you may be wondering what's my first initial thoughts. First initial thoughts are all pretty positive. Lots of nice potatoes here. They are the early variety, so it's only gonna get better. I hope it's only gonna get better. Not that these aren't good, but if there's more potatoes here, that's only good for us. I will say, something I am noticing, there does seem to be a lot here. So this is gonna be a lot of fun as we get into the later part of the year. If all these potatoes were really, really large, we'd be filling baskets left, right, and center. So once we move to the later varieties, where the potatoes are normally larger, oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work, but it's gonna be paying off in the end. So a lot of work always pays off. I don't think you could ask for a better day weather-wise to pick potatoes up off the ground. It is beautiful out here. Not too hot, not too cool. We got a slight breeze blowing through. From looking at the weather though, it is gonna warm back up a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Well, I don't think it's gonna be too crazy. Last time I checked, it wasn't gonna be. But you know how the weather can change. I'm hoping it doesn't get back up to the really, really hot temperatures. A lot of time work like this can be enjoyable, but when it starts to get too hot, that's when the joy starts to leave. So if it stays on the cooler side, I think this won't be too terrible of a job this year. But if it starts to get really, really hot, you guys know how we feel about that. There's a lot of potatoes here, and they look beautiful. Look at that line of baskets that we got. We got all the white potatoes picked up. We finished with 20 baskets. That's pretty good. Now we're moving on to the red. We'll see how many we get of those. Now with the red potatoes, we got a little different idea when we're going into it. We are kind of focusing on these smaller potatoes. Now why would we focus on the smaller potatoes? Because they are very, very popular. There's all different names for them. We call them creamers, and we eat a lot of them as a family, but we also sell a lot of them at the farm. So when we are picking up the potatoes, we want to make sure we don't leave any of these tiny little red ones behind because they're popular. You can get good money for them. A lot of times wholesalers will sell like bushel boxes for close to $50. Now, we normally don't buy them because in turn to make a profit off of them, we would have to sell them for quite a bit of money. But restaurants and stuff absolutely love them. As we're going through, we are being very careful to try and not miss anything. And if you catch me missing anything, don't say it in the comments. I don't want my dad to read it. All the potatoes have been picked up off the ground, and we're now loading them onto the wagon. Isn't that beautiful? That's a beautiful sight. potatoes are now all loaded up. We just got to get them back to the farm. Now that we're home with all the potatoes, what we're gonna do is get 2 separate bins. We're gonna wash the white potatoes into one bin and the red potatoes into another. You could probably wash them together and put them in one bin, but that would just be madness, and I don't wanna deal with that madness. It'd be better to separate them. Makes it a lot easier on all of us. So here we have our larger potatoes, these larger ones here in the bottom of the bin, and then we have our bees. The bees get separated out by one of our tools that we have in there. Now, these are gonna be a little bit more expensive because it takes more of them to fill up the containers that we have. But yeah, these can be used for 50-pound bags, 10-pound bags, quarts, you know, half-peck baskets, whatever we need. And they look gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful potatoes, and I think the customers are going to be really excited about this. Doesn't that look good? Woo. French fries, mashed potatoes, so many different things we could do with these potatoes. There is lots of heat coming off of those. Got our beautiful white taters right there. And some nice red taters right there. After we got all the potatoes moved into the cooler, we were trying to figure out what we needed to do, and we stumbled upon peppers. The reason why we stumbled upon peppers is because, one, we have a few orders for the weekend. They came in a little bit later on, and two, we were running low on supplies back in the farm. So we know peppers are pretty popular on the weekend. A lot of people are canning, a lot of people are freezing, having barbecues. So we feel like it's a good idea to get some of these peppers picked. And this is probably gonna wrap up picking for us today. We just got another wagon, well, I'll say half full wagon of peppers. We needed some jalapenos, some long hots, and some bell peppers for an order. What an amazing day of picking. Alrighty, everybody, I somehow got into my comfy chair, and Callie is right here with me, and I forgot to end the video, but we're ending it now. There's babies crying because it is dinner time for the babies. We got Pop-Pop, Mimi, we got a whole bunch of people here. Everybody's hanging out with the babies. There's little Lily. Hi, Lily. But yeah, we are now sitting down. We're about to watch the Phillies play, and that means this is where we're gonna end the video. I would like to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.